everyone, and welcome to this wealthmanagement.com Fast Chat. I'm Shannon Rossick. I'm joined by Jenny Anderson, Director of Advisor and Leader Development at Wells Fargo Advisors, and Robert Vinge, Private Wealth Advisor with Roseate Group. So thank you both for joining me. I get a 2-for-1 today.
You're welcome. We're excited.
Glad to be here.
So I'm very much looking forward to a fast but very deep dive, all about trends when it comes to teaming and succession planning. So let's jump right in. And Jenny, I want to start with you. Describe this concept of teaming, and let's talk about those trends when it comes to that and really around the succession space. You know, more advisors are moving towards a team model, but why do you think that ultimately is?
Well, yeah, so the industry is moving more towards teaming. I think roughly 50% of our advisors are on teams. I think the wealth management business has really changed over the years. It's not just stock picking, it's really the full picture of someone's wealth. So I think to do that, you really need a group of advisors working on a client's well-being. We actually see the benefits of teaming. I know you probably hear the adage 1 + 1 = 3 for teams, and we see that at Wells Fargo. So at Wells Fargo, our advisors on teams have more in production, 3 times more in net asset flow, more in lending, more in advisory, and the assets are typically stickier. And so I think from a client's perspective, you actually get that you have a group of advisors working on your wealth management for that 1% you may be paying for it. And it feels like you have a whole team around you. For the advisor's perspective, it's 2 parties or more parties coming together to figure out what's the right wealth management style that they want to do from an investment model, practice management, client experience. And so using multiple people's ideas to go to market. And I think for even those high net worth clients, you almost have to be on a team. They have complicated solutions, so you need to be bringing in those specialists to help you with executing that. For succession, this is a huge transition that we're going to be going through in the next 10 years. So 30 to 40% of our population is going to be retiring. And so what are firms doing to capture that? And so we are really focused on our next generation, focus on succession, and also helping our teams really grow and lean into this change in the industry.
Well, there's no doubt that it's certainly powerful to have a team around you, but what makes Wells Fargo's offering different than others in this space?
Well, obviously, we're the best. I'm just kidding. But for our teams, we're really focused on hearing from them and what they need help with. And so from our advisors, I think it's important that firms are investing in teams through either enhanced comp opportunities, coaching opportunities. So we offer more of a wider breadth of coaching for our advisors in the practice management space. So from anything on how do you establish a client experience, which Robert will talk about how we did that for his team, business growth, how do you deepen those relationships? And then we also help them with succession planning. So we want to make sure we have the full breadth of what we're helping our advisors with, even the new advisors. So if you want to add to your team or grow your team by adding someone new into the industry, we have a full life cycle from start to those looking to retire.
Well, Jenny, I appreciate you setting the stage. And Robert, I want to bring you into the conversation as well. So tell us about your team and what your team's strategy is for growth and around client experience.
We have 10 people on the team, 4 advisors, 2 financial consultants, and 3 assistants. And we're based in Charleston, South Carolina, and we just work with families. That's one of our foundation stones is we work with families. We really don't do institutional work, endowments, corporate work. We work with a select group of families. And our approach for growth historically has just been to always put the client first, of course, and be planning centric. So we build plans with every client. We were one of the first groups in the country to use Monte Carlo planning tools. And we're also a fee-based discretionary manager. We do our own asset management. And we achieve growth really through word of mouth from our existing happy families.
And I want to talk about coaching specifically. You know, what were the key areas you were focused on improving before all this?
Well, we wanted to communicate better as a team. In the last year, Shannon, we've had one advisor step into more of a part-time role, and we took on a new advisor and hired another associate. And so we had a lot of, and so the team was changing and growing. And we needed to get back to basics on communication. We were assuming that we were communicating. And in fact, we were doing a very poor job of communicating. And one thing Jenny suggested we do is lean back into the firm. So the whole firm went to St. Louis, spent a couple of days re-engaging with the firm. And one of those takeaways was coaching.
And when you engage with this custom coaching, tell us how the coach was able to help you in your main focus areas of your business.
So she really did kind of what we hope to do with clients. She did a lot of listening and questioning. She didn't take our word for it. She broke us down in terms of how we communicated and interacted with us directly, and over a lot of time, spent a lot of hours to learn what our communication styles were, and that was key. And she really started with the partners, and then she met with the sales staff, the support staff, and did separate engagements with them to learn how they communicate. And then she met with all of us together as a group and started to present solutions. So it was a lot like a client experience, listening over multiple conversations, and then making a presentation at the end.
Well, communication obviously is such a big part of the wealth management industry. And like you said, it is often overlooked because we just assume that we're good at it. But going back to basics, that is so encouraging to hear that you got so much out of it and were able to really reinvent your strategy. And so since that coaching engagement, how has your team and the client experience ultimately improved?
I tell you, Shannon, it's been pretty radical. First of all, the mood of the team is much improved. Everyone seems to be smiling more, laughing more. I've always been an anti-meeting person, but one thing we realized is we've gotten the size of our practice and the size of our team. That was not something we could continue to avoid. So we're meeting weekly on our schedules, on at a partner level, on an investment committee level, as it relates to portfolio, and that just disciplined meeting schedule has significantly improved our communication. We took a new marketing focus out of the coaching session, and we've been having monthly client events, and we're noticing a much stronger engagement with our client base as well, and that's leading into sales outcomes.
I was going to say, I would imagine that you've seen some growth on the AUM side of things based on all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing because we were really stalling out on growth. I mean, we were growing, but not proportionally to what we thought we should. And in the last 6 months, we brought in over $175 million in new assets under management, and we have another 30 million on deck. And it just it feels good. I mean, we've seen a noticeable difference in client engagement and actual business outcomes. Our revenues are up 11% year over year. So definitely the numbers are improving.
Well, congratulations. And again, the numbers don't lie. That's pretty incredible. And working on your team is obviously an ongoing effort. As you know, you have to constantly pause, reflect, reevaluate, implement new ideas and efforts. But what is your team going to now focus on next?
So we're really focusing on marketing. And one of the coaching, sales coaching processes we're going through with Wells Fargo is that we realize that prospecting, all of us have different styles. For example, I learned that I'm more of a direct prospector. Another one of my partners is what's called a target marketer, where he has a niche that he's comfortable marketing within. Another one of my partners is what's called a client miner, where she's digging deep into existing relationships for new referrals. And then another partner we've discovered is a natural for book acquisition. So we learned that I always assumed that all advisors were just direct prospectors, but in fact, there's lots of different ways to prospect. And we've learned what our strengths and weaknesses are that way, and we're applying that in how we prospect.
Well, I love that. Certainly play to folks' strengths. Jenny, Robert, really insightful discussion today. Obviously, Wells Fargo is incredibly well positioned in this space to help, and I appreciate both of your time today.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you
Shannon.
for having us.